as we await a critical decision from the U.S. Supreme Court. Affirmative action, giving resources or preference or favor of certain people deemed disadvantaged. This kind of special treatment, really from the 1950s and 60s, just popped up as a 2024 election battleground, and it could be as monumental, we're told, as last summer's Roe versus Wade opinion. The question at the center of this affirmative action case, in this day and age, should colleges consider race when deciding who gets in and who doesn't? I'm Harris Faulkner. You're in the Faulkner Focus. 18-year-old John Wang is at the center of this momentous legal case. Wang argues that affirmative action meant to help minorities is actually hurting high-performing Asian Americans in particular. He shared his story with Fox Nation. Wang graduated high school with a 4.65 GPA. He scored 1590 out of 1600 on his SAT. But 6 top colleges denied him entrance.
I got an 800 out of 800 on math, which was 99th percentile, and then I got a 790 out of 800 on reading, which was 98th or 99th percentile. So the top tier schools I applied to were MIT, Caltech, Princeton, Harvard, Carnegie Mellon, and UC Berkeley. Just talking with my friends and guidance counselors, they all told me that it's tougher to get in, especially as an Asian American. I just took it as gospel.
Well, a new op-ed says we better brace for impact on this one. Here's a quote: "Whatever the decision is, it's bound to make waves, just as with the overturning of Roe versus Wade. This could potentially lead to another summer marked by social unrest, with defenders of race-based admissions pulling out the long knives for the U.S. Supreme Court, calling it inherently racist." End of quote. Our chief Washington correspondent, Mike Emanuel, now with the important details we need to know before we discuss this story. Mike?
Harris, good morning. These are huge cases that could have a massive impact on higher education in this country. Both Harvard and the University of North Carolina are being challenged at the Supreme Court in different cases, accused of using racially biased admissions criteria to keep certain students from attending some of the top universities in the country. The High Court's ruling could have a major political impact and societal impact, reaching beyond academic institutions to hiring and other race over merit practices. John Wang had nearly perfect SAT scores, 1590 out of 1600, and yet was rejected by those 6 elite schools. He says he was warned that it is tougher to get into college, especially as an Asian American. Wang says he's doing this on behalf of future generations of students.
I definitely thought a little bit about the consequences, but I just think that it was an opportunity for me to fight for what I think is right, and also fight for Asian Americans that are younger than me.
The debate over college admissions is being closely watched at the White House. The argument there is the Biden administration has been focused on racial equity.
The president has been very clear. The vice president has been very clear. There are real issues that we need to address and to look at. And he's been able to deal with that, deal with those issues, deal with racial equality from the federal government. But clearly there's more work to be done.
With a conservative majority, it could be a return to merit over other factors when it comes to college admissions. Harris?
And I know I heard you say that word equity. We'll get into it here. Thank you. Leo Terrell is in